Hi, and welcome to Zo Talks. This is the show where we discuss all things mental health. We focus on adolescents, the mental health industry, and the education industry. This is also the show where we want to discuss all things difficult. So what are some of the burning questions on your mind that you want answers to? I'm Christina, I'm from Zoala. We're a tech startup company.
And I'm Joanna. I'm from wwyd, a youth counseling center. And today we have a very special guest. We have Priscilla with us. Priscilla is a psychotherapist and a parent coach, and she's here today to just share more about her experience working with parents in the mental health industry. So thank you, Priscilla, for joining us today. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So could you share with us and our listeners who are not sure, what is the role of a parent coach? What do they do?
Oh, okay, so basically, a parent coach is someone who is a professional who can actually provide guidance and help parents along the way to navigate the difficulties or the challenges in parenting, in parenthood lah. So basically, we can educate them, we can teach them skills, we can help to enhance their parenting um understanding and perspective also. So, for example, we can help them in areas such as, behavioral issues or like simple things like, why is my child throwing tantrum so much? So we can coach them in the area about the child's developmental stages and how to create positive and effective skills to help them to grow lah, as parents also. So the basic idea is that we want to support them and also to empower them in this journey to help them um really go through this whole parenting journey, because some parents they feel so alone, so parenting coaches will help to journey alongside them as well. Yeah. So this is what a parent coach does lah.
So you're also a psychotherapist as well as a parent coach. Say a parent has a breakdown.
Mhm.
Where do you see the difference between a psychotherapist versus a parent coach?
So I think the difference would be if, what is the parent's perspective of the issue at hand. If she feels like she's unable to handle the child because of her own anxieties, her own issues like past baggages or her own trauma, then we would have to work on the parents from the psychotherapy perspective. But if she feels very frustrated and like, very stressed about a certain part of the parenting journey, then it will be more on coaching strategies, helping her understand the child's perspective, the child's needs. Yeah, so we really have to see the difference on what the parents' struggle is like at that point. Yeah.
Yes, that's very clear because Mimi, I have two young children, so it really helps for me also to understand where that is defined or the difference there.
Yeah. I actually have a lot of parents who come in feeling very frustrated, and a lot of times it's because they don't know how to manage themselves, and it's very difficult for them to understand, like how to fix my child, but actually it's their own personal issues which kind of, is projected onto the child and the whole parenting journey. Then it really frustrates them lah. So this is where, as the parent coach and a psychotherapist, I can educate them and show them the differences between your own struggles that are being bled out into the journey of parenthood and, helping your child grow and develop as a, in a holistic way lah. Yeah. So having that perspective of both sides, you can really help the parents see clearly, which is the real issue lah.
And as a parent, I see a lot on TikTok, Instagram reels. A lot of advice on how to be a better parent. But I've also noticed there's a lot of different parenting styles that are emerging. So gentle parenting. Can you maybe do you know the different types of parenting styles that are out there?
Yeah, I think generally in the world of therapy, right, there's actually four main styles: authoritarian, authoritative, permissive, and neglectful. So under, for example, authoritative, how I remember it to be the most, because so basically there's two A's, right? Authoritarian and authoritative. The one that you can remember is the more effective one. Is, authoritative ends with the letter E, right? So you just remember it as effective. So under gentle parenting, or like those positive parenting those kind of styles, they all fall under authoritative, which is the more effective style, where you respect the child, you focus on the child's needs, Well, authoritarian is more like military style, you only listen to me, very fear-based kind of like don't answer back kind of style, So that's, I would say, a bit more traditional based, and of course it really depends on how the parents were parented themselves. So if let's say I was growing up and my parents were the very neglectful kind, or a lot of freedom, no boundaries, just try everything that I want, then of course as I grow up, I become a parent, I would do the same thing because this is how I learned to be a parent, right? So this is what I would do for my child, but it's not necessarily very helpful. So so talking about the four, right? So authoritarian is more military style, more focused on you listen to my rules. Authoritative is more effective, is known to be the most effective one, like research has shown, where you focus on the child's needs, and then permissive is the one that is very everything also can, no rules, no boundaries, and then there's a neglectful one where you just let your child do anything you want, but you're very emotionally distant. Like you don't provide guidance, you don't help your child in any way. So it's just basically you're just there to either give money or just, not involved at all. Lah. So out of the four main ones, I would say, I mean, authoritative would be the most um helpful and beneficial for children to grow with, lah, because it gives them that freedom, and at the same time there's also a boundary which keeps them feeling very safe and very secure, so they know certain things that they can do, certain things that they cannot do, lah.
And you mentioned, like as you were mentioning through the different types of parenting styles, I'm just wondering, like, what would be some of the impacts that it would have on the child's development and growth? Like, do you see, like, do children of authoritative parenting, do they, do they have healthier relationships in the future? And then authoritarian, are they more, like, are there like certain symptoms or signs associated with different styles for the child's development?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think that generally from my observation and from learning about all this also, we learn that authoritative parenting, the effective one, is actually very helpful for children because it encourages independence and helps them to make decisions on their own, and they have like a very safe boundary where they know that, okay, if I cross this line, I know I'm gonna get it lah, get punished that kind. But if I don't, then I'm still safe. I can explore within these boundaries. So it raises kids who are very self-disciplined, who have confidence, who are very secure emotionally because they know anytime they can approach their parents will be there to help them. The parents will be there to guide them as well because the parents are not the turn you away kind of parents lah. So they are very free to ask and very free to explore, which will raise them, they'll grow into very secure and confident kids lah. So this is what a lot of people are trying to take the authoritative kind of parenting style. But of course, naturally we'll fall back into our own patterns lah, like the authoritarian style, where if you're raised under that, you might have very good obedience, but you will struggle with self-esteem because a lot of things you're not allowed to make your own decisions. You can't trust whether your own decisions are correct or not. So you might have self-esteem issues, decision-making struggles. And even things like permissive parenting. You can have a child that is very uh, that struggles a lot with self-control because everything is permissible. You can try everything. So there's always this sense of entitlement. I can what? I can do it what? Everything also can. And they might also struggle with authority figures, like they don't like to be clamped, clamped down with rules and structure. Yeah. And I think the last one, neglectful parenting, is more like, children, they lack the support, they lack the empowerment, which can lead to a lot of emotional and behavioral issues as well. Like there's always this need for attention, need for love and security, which they may find in, things like friendship or even um, substance use or even technology, like computer games and all that. So different styles will have different impact on the child. You just need to be, and I would say you you will never really be just one style alone. There's always a base style, but you somehow have to input a little bit. You will naturally input a little bit of everything lah. Yeah, because to be that one style alone, you are really purist lah, which doesn't really exist in this world unless you're very robotic. I mean, naturally human lah, we tend to try to do the best, but we sometimes fall short lah. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Because when you were talking about the different styles and the effects that it have on the children, and you also acknowledge that some parents, they do try, but sometimes because of history, because of their patterns, they kind of fall back to the original, I would say, parenting style, which is something that they were influenced when they were a kid. How would parents then recognize their parenting styles and make that first few conscious steps to adapt their approach?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think a lot of parents, the time when they realize that okay, this is not working is when they see that their children are actually, not what they want their child to be. So for example, things like behavioral issues or like, like, oh, my child suddenly picked up smoking. To them it's a very sudden thing, but actually along the years, there have been a lot of issues that have been happening, but the parents didn't notice. So how parents need to realize all this is through a lot of awareness and openness to feedback and a willingness to change lah. Like for example, if your child is saying something or displaying some kind of behavior, you need to be attentive to listen and pay attention to these signs and understand what is my child going through, what are her current needs right now, how come she's displaying all these things, and have a conversation with your child. If not, you will never really fully understand what she's going through, what are her needs, what is lacking, So sometimes I always advise parents it would be good if you can really sit down and have a conversation with your child, understand what are the underlying needs. Because I think we all have basically the same needs, but if they're not met, we will find ways to meet the needs if we don't get it at home. So things like having conversations will help parents to recognize it. You can also talk to a parent coach. You can also talk to your child directly, or you can, just observe your child and what is going on for your child. Like really put yourself in your child's shoes and think about, what is happening in her world right now and what does she need and how can you as a parent meet that need. Yeah. So I think the main thing for me, I always tell parents is always think about what your child needs at this point. I mean, the need is not talking about material need, financial need. It's more of emotional needs. Do they need security? Do they need love? Do they need attention? And needing attention, I always tell parents, it's not a bad thing, because attention will really give them a lot of sense of validation, a lot of self-worth, improvement. It really helps the child to know that they are worth their parents' time. So simple things like attention, you can even like have proper eye contact with your phone aside. Just eye contact with your children makes them feel very validated. So simple things like these are really having that conversation with your child and having that feedback back to you as a parent. Then you learn that okay, am I on the right track or not? So these are some of the ways yeah.
Priscilla, I want to ask, do you notice any common myths or misconceptions that parents might have around parenting and mental health?
Yeah. I think there are quite a lot, but I think the more common ones that I notice in parents is that they always think that, mental health issues, like my kids will grow out of it, or if I talk about mental health issues, it will make things worse. Just like if my child has self-harm and if I ask her about it, it'll make her feel like, oh, she's gonna hurt herself even more, or even seeking for help from a parent coach is actually a sign of my weakness as a parent. Like there's really nothing wrong with asking for help. We're basically just parents. We all need someone to journey with us. So I don't think that everyone should see parent coaching or seeking for help or support as a sign of weak parenting or lousy parenting. So those are the myths that I try to educate parents that it's not just about what you think. You really need to explain your perspective by talking to people and clearing those misconceptions up.
Right. Yeah.
It's almost like in the work in the workplace. We go for
Mhm.
coaching or workshops
Yeah,
to
yeah.
where our knowledge and understanding. So in the same way, I mean, in our personal life, even more importantly, I suppose, as a parent, because
Mhm.
parenting is tough.
I have 2 kids and like, oh, even I myself as a therapist, I struggle so hard to try and be the better parent, the good enough parent, but it's really a struggle, man. Yeah, and I tell you, no parent has it easy. So, yeah, I mean, we all need that help, lah. And also, don't be afraid of asking for help or asking a few questions or just having a one-to-one session. Nothing wrong with any of those. Just get the help you need, and then when you are ready, you can just continue on your journey. It's a really a never-ending journey, like I feel.
Yeah, because I think that a lot of times when parents seek help or they are hesitant to seek help, it's because they feel like they're not doing well enough. That's why they need
Mhm.
to ask others. But then again, show us a perfect parent, and then we can say, yeah,
Yep.
maybe I'm not doing well enough. And you'll never find a
Yeah.
perfect parent. Like even you, as experienced you are with all your expertise, like you also admit that sometimes it gets too much. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yeah. There's really no perfect parent. If you're a perfect parent, means you're not parenting properly, lah. Because everything's too easy for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So really, just get the help you need. Ask questions. It's okay, right? Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for
Mm.
taking the time today to share more with us about your experiences. We really appreciate it. Do you have any other questions, Christina?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you so much for
Okay.
your time.
Much, lady. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and for all our listeners, if you guys have any questions or any other concerns in your head, do let us know. Find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and then just send us any of your inquiries. Okay.
Thank
All
you so
right.
much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.